Good morning, everyone. Myself, Kausar Mumin, 8th Standard Subject Science, Chapter number 3 Force and Pressure. Our today's topic is balanced and unbalanced force. So, to understand this topic, we will apply some activity. Through this activity, we can define balance and unbalanced force. Okay, so let's go ahead with the activity. Just imagine in your mind we are performing this kind of activity. Take a cardboard box, tie thick string to its two sides and keep it on a small smooth table as shown in figure. We have to take a small cardboard and we have to tie two string on the table two sides. Okay, take the string on both the sides of the table, tie weighing pan to the two ends. Keep equal masses in both pans. The box does not move on the table. If more mass is kept in one side of the pan than in other, the box starts moving in the direction of the pan. Equal gravitational force acts on both the pans when equal masses are kept in them. This means balanced forces act on the box with effective force equal to 0, as these are acting in opposite direction. What is the meaning of this? If suppose you are weighing in this pan 1 kg and this also 1 kg, so both weight are same, hence this cardboard is not moving, but this mass is having this direction and that mass is having this direction. Both are opposite and equal. That is why suppose on this side it is 1 kg and on that side that is 1 kg. So whatever net mass you are getting, that is 0, because of opposite direction we are getting negative sign. Okay, on the contrary, if more mass is kept in pan than another, then the box starts moving in the direction of the pan with more mass. That means if you are keeping on this side 2 kg and on that side 1 kg itself, okay, so the cardboard moves on this side. The cardboard will move on this side where the mass is much more. So if we can say that if more mass is kept in one pan than the other, the box starts moving in the direction of the mass with more mass. When unequal forces are applied to the box on the two sides, an unbalanced force acts on the box, resulting in imparting motion of the box. Another very interesting example which is related to your playing part. So let's go ahead with the example. Children playing tug of war pull the rope in their respective directions. If the pull of the force is equal on the two sides, the rope does not move. Means children are playing tug of war. If they are having equal force, then the rope does not move on any side. Okay, the rope moves in the, like, if the force is more on one side, the rope moves in that direction. If the force is on one side, the rope is on that side. The rope direction will go on that side. Suppose in this direction force is much more, in this direction force is much more, then the rope will falls on this side itself. Okay, so if the force is more on one side, the rope moves in that direction. This means that initially the two forces are balanced, we can say if the two forces are balanced, the rope moves in the direction of higher force. When the forces become unbalanced, when the forces become unbalanced, the rope moves in the direction of higher force. When the force become unbalanced, then the direction of will be high at the higher force direction. Okay, so let us see one more example. When big grain storage container is required to slide on the ground, it becomes easier if two persons push it rather than one person. Here also person. When the force is applied by both in same direction, the movement is easy. You may have experienced this. What do you understand from this example? So from this example we can say that if the force is equal at both the side, then the whatever force which is coming out, that is balanced force. If the force is at one side much more as compared to other side, then such type of force we can say it as unbalanced force. Through all these examples we can say this statement. Please note it down, this statement, in your book. So here are the points for the same. If several forces are applied on any object in same direction, a force equal to their addition acts on the object. Point number 2. If two forces are applied on one object in the direction opposite to each other, a force equal their differences acts on the object. See, a force is expressed in magnitude as well as direction. So we can say it as force is a vector quantity. It means vector quantity means, previous also I said to you, vector quantity means it has magnitude as well as direction. When a force is applied on a stationary object, it moves, its speed and direction change. Similarly, force is required to stop an object in a motion. That means if some object is there which is a stationary, so to get a movement in the stationary object we have to apply a force. Okay, so we can say it as when a force is applied to a stationary object, it moves, its speed and direction change. Similarly, exactly opposite thing also happens. If somewhere the speed is there, to stop the speed of the object we have to apply a force. For the same there is a statement. Similarly, a force is required to stop an object in motion. An object can change its shape due to force. Obviously, if you will press some object, then definitely the shape of the object gets changed. Example, balloon. If you are pressing the balloon, then pressing means if you are pressing the balloon, that means you are applying force, and because of you are applying force, the shape or size of the balloon gets changed. Few more examples are there. Example is like while kneading a dough made from flour, the dough changes its shape and when force is applied. Next example is a potter applies a force in a specific direction while shaping the pot. Rubber when stretch expands. There are many more such examples are like it. And think a few more examples in your mind, so you will get an idea for the, if you are applying a force, then definitely the shape of the object gets changed. Now our next topic is inertia. Very interesting topic related to the force only. We have seen that an object changes its state of motion due to force. As above examples, we have seen an object is it is changing its shape, size and all due to force. Yeah. In the absence of a force, object exhibits a tendency to remain in the existing state of motion. To understand this concept, we are having few activity as well as few examples. Let's go ahead with the activity. First of all, first activity, take a postcard and keep it on a glass. Suppose I am taking a glass. On this glass I have to keep a postcard. Okay, keep a 5 rupee coin on it. So, suppose I am keeping a 5 rupee coin on it. Now skillfully push the card. Now just push this card. So what happened? The coin straight away falls in the glass. So you can do this type of example at home also. If you push this card, then definitely this coin falls down in the glass. Activity number 2. Hang a half kg mass from a stand. Suppose with this stand I have to hang a half kg mass. Next is tie another string to the mass and keep it hanging. What we have to do? We have to take two strings. With one string I have to attach half kg mass, and with another string I have to tie another string to the mass and keep it hanging. Obviously you also can do this type of activity at home. You have to take a string, you have to tie half kg mass on it, and another string you have to apply with it only. Okay. Now next is, now pull the string 2 with a jerk. The string 2 breaks, but the mass does not fall. If you jerk the string, then the string gets break. The string gets break, and the mass is at same place. So we can say the string 2 breaks, but the mass does not fall. Heavy mass does not move. Now pull the string 2 slowly. The string 1 breaks and the mass falls down. This is because of the tension developed in the string 2 due to the mass. So based on that, we can say for inertia, in the absence of force, object exhibits a tendency to remain existing state of motion. Likewise, in first activity which I have said, I am not applying any mass on the coin. Still the coin gets fall down because I pushed away the cardboard. Okay. So still I have not applied any force on the coin. So this type of act is happening. So all these things comes in inertia. So that is why in the absence of force, objects exhibits a tendency to remain in the existing state of motion. Now next point is pressure. We have observed the tires of two-wheelers and four-wheelers getting pressurized. Have you observed it? Think about it. Have you observed it? To pressurizing of tires and all. So if you observe, so you will get it very nicely. If you have not observed, just search on Google, you will get an idea for the same. The air filling machine has a pressure indicating dial or digital meter showing digital reading of pressure. The machine fills the pressure to a certain value. We are aware that force has to be applied for filling in the bicycle tire with hand pump. By applying force, air pressure is increased and then air is pushed into the tire. So do you have any idea about our force and pressure gets related? What is the answer for the same? So the answer is yes. Force and pressure are related to each other. Okay. Now third activity. Take a sharp pointed nails and push them into a wooden plank by hammering in their heads. Now take a nail and hold it with head the plank and hammer it down from the pointed end. When pressurizing the drawing pins into a drawing board, they get into the board easily. By applying force using a thumb, one can push pins into the board. On the contrary, while pressing ordinary pins into the board, while pressing ordinary pins with the thumb may get hurt. It's a very basic example. Have you observed your notice board and all the paper? The notice paper is attached on it, and few pins are over there. So the head part is there. Also pins, nail part also is there. So for the pressing, we are having like colorful pins are over there. So the head part is there. If you push from the head part, you will not get hurt. But if you will push it from another side of the pin, then definitely you will get hurt over there. So through this experiment, we can say the nail easily penetrates into the wood from pointed end. From this, we will notice that when force is applied to one head of the nail, it is easy to hammer into the plank. So it is easy to cut vegetables, fruits for sharp knife. A blunt knife does not work here. So why this happened? Do you have any idea for the same? So we can say force exerted perpendicularly on a unit area called pressure. Force exerted perpendicularly on unit area is called pressure. I have explained this part in last lecture also with the help of table and the wooden blocks example were there. So you can observe that example also for the same. So we can say pressure is equals to force upon area on which force is applied. So hence we can say pressure for P is equals to for force F and area is A. So this is the formula for pressure. Now we can find the unit for pressure also, and it is SI unit for force is Newton, area is measured in meter square, hence SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. SI unit for pressure is Newton per meter square. So here I'll show you for force unit is Newton, for area unit is meter, hence for pressure unit is Newton per meter square. Okay, so that is SI unit, or we can say it as Pascal. We can say it as Pascal. Unit of pressure is Newton per meter square as well as Pascal, which is PA. Okay, both the unit are of pressure only. In the atmospheric science, the unit of pressure is bar. So that is 1 bar is equals to 10 to the power of 5 Pascal. So here we can say pressure is a scalar quantity. Pressure is a scalar quantity. That means it has a magnitude. It does not have any direction. If area is increases, pressure reduces from same force, and if the area decreases, the pressure increases for the same force. This example I have given in last lecture also. So pressure can be on different types. Pressure can be on solid, pressure can be on liquid, pressure can be atmospheric pressure, pressure is on gas pressure. So all these things pressure can come. So solid pressure, force is applied on a solid thing, so over there pressure creates, and for the same we can say solid pressure. Now next is the example of pressure of liquid. The solid example I have shown you in last lecture, so please observe this, the wooden block on the table which is given example. Now pressure on liquid, for the same activity is there, so please observe. I am reading the part, listen carefully. Take a plastic bottle, take a 10 centimeter long piece of a glass tube on which a rubber balloon can be fitted. Warm up one end of the glass tube and gently push the bottle at about 5 centimeters from the bottom. To avoid water leakage, apply molten wax on the side of the glass tube. Now fill water slowly into the bottle and see how balloon inflates. What is observed? So you can observe this. You can apply this activity at home also. Nothing much more thing. You have to take a plastic bottle, then we have to take over the 10 centimeter or anything which is available at your home, long piece of glass tube on which rubber balloon can be fitted. Warm up one end of glass tube and gently push the bottle about 5 centimeter from the bottom. So all these things you can do at home also. Now next is, this is the example of the same, which is the activity 1. This type of things you have to do at home. Now next example, next activity, take a plastic bottle, paste it with a thick needle, points 1, 2, 3 as shown in figure. Fill water in the bottle up to full height as shown in the figure. Water jets will be seen emerging and projecting out. The water jet emerging from hole at the top will fall closest to the bottle. Then the jet from the lowest hole falls farthest from the bottle. Also, jets coming out from the two holes at the same level fall at the same distance from the bottle. So what we have understood from this? So we can say that at any level the liquid pressure is the same. Also the pressure increases as the depth of liquid increases. Next is gas pressure. If a balloon is inflated by filling air in by mouth, it inflates on all sides. If a pinhole is created in the balloon, air leaks out. The balloon does not inflate fully. It is realized that like liquid, gas also exert pressure on wall container in which it is enclosed. All gases and liquids have a common name, which is fluid. Fluid means in this all gases and liquids comes in it. All gases and liquids have a common name, which is fluid. Fluid means gas, liquid. Fluids in a container exerts pressure from within one on the walls and the bottom of the container. A fluid means gases and liquids. Fluid enclosed in a container exerts its pressure equally in all direction at a point within a fluid, which we have seen bottle example. When you are filling water in the bottle, so with overall area water gets covered, and if you are filling air in a balloon, in overall area air was there. So we can say that a fluid enclosed in a container, fluid means all gases and liquids. Fluids enclosed in a container exerts its pressure equally in all direction at a point within the fluid. Now next example is of atmospheric pressure, which is related to air. Air surrounds the earth from all sides. This layer of air is called atmosphere. Atmosphere exists about 16 km height from the earth. It further extends up to 400 km very dilute form. The pressure created due to air is called as atmospheric pressure. The pressure which presents in the air, that is atmospheric pressure. Imagine that very long hollow cylinder unit cross-sectional area is standing on the surface of the earth and it contains air. Here is the example for the same. This is atmospheric pressure. Okay, that one is the figure. Weight of this air is force applied in the direction of the center of the earth. This means that atmospheric pressure is the ratio of this weight divided by the area of the surface. So the air pressure at the sea level is called 1 atmosphere pressure. Air pressure decreases as one goes up height from the sea level. So we can say in generally at the sea level your air pressure is 1 atmosphere, and if you'll go on above on sea level, so your air pressure gets decreases. So hence we can say that 1 atmosphere is equals to 101 into 10 to the power of 3 Pascal, or we can say it as 1 bar or 10 to the power of m bar. So what is m bar? What is m bar? M bar means 10 to the power of 2 Pascal. Atmospheric pressure is specified in units m bar. M bar means 100 Pascal, or we can say it as hectopascal, which is HPA. The atmospheric pressure at a point in air is equal from all sides. How is the pressure is created? If air exists in a closed container, the air molecules in random motion continuously hit the walls of the container. In this interaction, force is exerted on the walls of the container. So we can say it as pressure is created due to force. Pressure is created due to force. Just underline this part in your textbook. We constantly bear the atmospheric pressure on our heads. However, the cavities in our body are also filled with air, and arteries and veins are filled with blood, which is our body part. In our body are also filled with air, and arteries, veins are also filled with blood. Therefore, we do not get crushed under water due to atmospheric pressure, as the pressure is balanced. The earth atmospheric pressure decreases with height from the sea level.